What's up guys, Noah from Stage 3 Motorsports, and today we are in the shop again with our 2019 Ranger that we're building. Now, I did another shop day video where we kind of worked on getting this truck set up with wheel spacers. We cut out the crash bars, we had our leveling kit in, so there was some mods done to it, but we've kind of just been testing different parts and pieces as we've gone along, and now we're wanting to focus in and really get more of a dialed build that has a purpose to it instead of just testing and fitting other random parts to figure out what works or what doesn't or get the content that we need. So with that focus, what we're aiming for is going to be more of an overland Ranger style build. And that's going to mean probably still staying around the same stance. We'll have have it leveled, get some different suspension in there, wheels, tires, things like that are going to change. But then we also are going to have a pretty big emphasis on bed systems. And so this first video, we're going to probably be focusing mostly on the back end of the truck with the bed. And you can already see right here that we've got a deck system laid out for this thing. So I'm really excited. I love these systems. The drawers are super useful, whether you overland or car camp or whatever you want to call it, or you used it for work, or you're just somebody that likes to go fishing, whatever it may be. These are an awesome system, really good for storage, and I think it's gonna be perfect for this build. But let's kind of take a look at what we've got here. So as you can see, we've got everything laid out here. We've got the drawers, the center vert, the top section of the deck, as well as the ammo cans, all the stuff that comes in the kit, and then we also have a box of hardware up here on the bench that's gonna have all of our nuts and bolts, as well as the rubber seals and everything that's gonna go around and making this come together. How this actually ships though is in a big box. Huge freight shipment here that comes on a pallet. So if you're interested in ordering one of these for your vehicle, this is kind of what you can expect, is just a giant box from decked with all of your pieces inside. All of our stuff looks good. There's nothing broken. I think we're going to be pretty well set to get ready and do an install on this thing. Something I do want to clarify is we are going to be installing this, and this video is going to be more of just a general overview of us putting these parts on the truck and getting everything set up, but it won't be a step-by-step how-to. So if you are looking for a step-by-step how-to install, we will have another separate video coming out with information on that and all the other parts that we're going to be putting onto this build. So definitely keep an eye out for all of that. It'll run very similar to our Raptor build that you can see over there. But with that being said, I think we're ready to go in and get this thing set up in the bed. So we're going to get some lights on here and all that ready and rolling and jump right in. All right, so let's give you an update on where we stand with the deck so far. We've been working on doing the install here, and you can see that we've basically got the framework laid out. We're gonna be mounting the ammo cans in the corners with these rails for the actual drawers. Then once that stuff's tied in, we can start working on getting the drawers themselves put in and the actual deck on top of it to get everything pulled together. But so far so good. All the stuff in the back is mounted up and tight. We got everything squared up on the ground. So we're gonna keep plugging along and get this thing all put together, but I'm pretty excited with how it's going so far. All right guys, we are done with the deck system, and it's actually the next day now. We technically finished up end of yesterday, and we were just really tight on time, so I didn't have a chance to grab any shots before I left, but I do want to give you a walk around and show you how this turned out. So what we've got here obviously is the full system all the way installed, and this is very similar to the kit that I had in my F-150 that you guys have seen in some of our other videos for that overland build. This one's just a little bit smaller. So the drawer on this side is a full-size drawer like we've had, and you've got dividers and everything inside. It'll hold the decked toolboxes if you want to put those in there, as well as any other camping gear or tools, just general like contractor supplies, things like that. But then you get a skinnier drawer on the side, which is actually still really useful. I think this is great probably for holding, rifles or, folding chairs, longer equipment, things that are kind of narrow that you still need that space for. This is going to get the job done. Then obviously on the top here, it's just the flat decked surface. We have these ammo cans on the sides, which a little hard to pop open, but yeah, you can see it's just kind of an open, empty storage place right on the edge of it, and it's not as weather sealed or protected obviously as the stuff inside the drawers, but it does give you another area to put things. And if you have like tow straps or bungee cords or things like that, you can always tuck them in there. Overall, we're super happy with how it came together. The actual look of it is great. It fits in the truck, no problem. And these systems are pretty easy to install. Really the biggest issue, it's not so much a technical skill thing, it's more of just a time thing. They're very time consuming. There's a lot of bolts to turn and they come completely disassembled. So you're putting every single nut and bolt in this kit to get it to work as you go along. Even with that being said, the instructions are clear, it works out well, and we do have an install video that we're putting together right now, so we'll be bringing that out down the road where you guys can get an idea of exactly what it takes to put it in. So one last order of business I want to knock out here today before we head out is this Free Spirit High Country tent that I got for the Ranger, and we're going to put this on an RCI rack, which also just showed up yesterday, and that'll be excellent. That's going to be the low profile rack, actually basically what you're seeing on the Raptor back there, just a little bit smaller and adjustable for the Ranger. But we've got the tent here. I think I'm gonna pop this thing open, kind of unbox it, so to speak. We just wanna make sure that we got everything that we needed in there and take a look at what the tent actually looks like. So I'm gonna pull that apart right now. Alright, so now this is all the way opened up. You can see it just kind of pulls out with the Rainfly already on it, which is great, makes it nice fast setup. I went ahead and undid the zippers and everything. So I don't know how much you guys are gonna be able to see on the inside there, but I tried to open up the windows and all that. They gave us the toolkit and some extra straps as well as the brackets to mount the bottom of it to our rack. And so everything that we should have got with it, we did get, which is great. And I think we're gonna be in business with this tent. So the next thing to handle will be the rack, like I said, so we'll come around to that. But there's also some other accessories I want to do on our deck system, and I think today we're gonna try and get those put on. We've got basically their Core Trax rail system that's gonna go on the top of the deck, as well as some toolboxes we got from them and some drawer locks that I wanna throw in. So we'll kind of jump into that and see what we can get knocked out. Okay guys, we got all the decked accessories wrapped up. You can see we've got our D-boxes in here. We've got the Core Trax all done. There's actual locks for our drawers and everything now. So really happy with how that turned out. Everything's basically set. So all we have to do is load this up with gear and camping equipment and all that fun stuff when the time comes. But we're super happy with it, and I can't wait to actually get out and use this thing. But first, now we need to go back around and we're gonna unbox our RCI rack, kind of lay that out, probably assemble it, and then we can get to work on mounting that to the bed itself. So let's jump into getting that rack. So unboxing this thing was quite a process. They definitely don't go light on the packaging, but I'd say that that's probably a good thing because the actual rack itself is in perfect shape. There's no dings or chips or anything like that in the powder coat here. All the pieces we have are with us, it looks like. So we've got the actual legs that go on the bed, we've got the cross members, and we've got the side panels where you can add mounts for rotopacks or shovels or whatever else, and then obviously the clamps. So we're looking pretty good so far. I think now it's just a matter of assembling it. Okay, we are getting pretty close to being able to put the tent on now. In fact, we're basically at that step, but you can see the rack's mounted up. We went ahead and assembled it on the floor and then set it into the truck and kind of tightened everything from there. I've heard some people just kind of building it and installing it in the back of the truck, and that is a way that you can do it, but we figured we'd do it on the floor because it'd be easier for both of us to get in there and kind of partially tighten everything down, and then we could slide it and adjust it as we needed once it was on the bed. But yeah, we're looking pretty good so far. We've got both crossbars on there too. So these are still kind of loose. We're probably going to take the tent, set it on top, get our hardware in, then we'll tighten those bars down once it's all lined up and we have it where we like it. But I think we're looking pretty good. Well, we are finally complete. We've got the decked in, we've got the RCI rack on, and now we've got our FSR tent on top of that. So you can see we've got the finished product here, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think this looks excellent, and it's going to be a really good usable camping, overland, off-road kind of setup. So you guys have already seen from what I showed you a little bit of the deck system with the doors and all that. So we've got all of our storage we're going to be able to fill up down in the bottom. Then with this space in between, there's actually still enough room to get like a cooler and some storage bins or throw some chairs or whatever up on top of this, and we can strap everything down if we need. So I think that this is still going to be usable space in between the actual rack and the top of that deck. And even with the system I had in my F-150, it was very similar, running it decked with the RCI rack, and I was able to still get gear and equipment in there and pull things in and out as I needed. There's a lot of good utility, even though you are kind of sacrificing this as a actual truck bed. That being said, I think it's going to work really well for our purposes. And then I'm also really happy with how this tent is fitting on here. Everything bolted up nice and clean. We're pretty stoked about how this looks. I think the desert tan and the gray is going to be a really good fit on this truck, especially as we continue to build it and add more to it. The more off-roady and aggressive it gets, the better this is going to fit in. But even now with where it stands, this looks really, really good. And this is the FSR High Country Medium, I believe. So it's a folding, kind of clamshell design. And they say it's about a 2 to 3 person tent. I would say probably 2 adults and maybe a kid in there. But 2 adults is going to be the max for the most comfortable sleeping experience, I would imagine. And just from my experience in these tents in general. But yeah, overall, it fits great. It folds out no problem. And then I'll show you it once it's closed up and get a couple shots. It seems to sit pretty nicely on the truck. It's a little higher than the roof line, but that shouldn't be a big issue. And with the way this rack positions it, thankfully it's not completely above the roof. It does sit a little bit lower, and that just makes it slightly more aerodynamic and less likely for things to hit and hang up on the tent as we drive. So guys, this is going to be a wrap on this shop day video for all of our bed upgrades on the Ranger. We will have some more videos coming as we continue to build and upgrade this truck. And then, like I said earlier in the video, the intent of this wasn't so much to be a how-to step-by-step install. It's more so to just give you a feel of how the build's going and what we're adding and kind of where that progress is moving us. So we will have some other videos coming out with installs on like the deck system and the accessories and some of that. And then we'll probably have official reviews coming down the road on the tent and everything to give you our, laid out complete thoughts once we've used it on what we like or dislike and what's good and what's bad. But overall, this video I think is a good, first impression of how the truck is coming together. So thank you guys for watching, and while you're here, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the other videos we're going to be cranking out with this Ranger. And if you want links to the parts to check out some of the stuff for your own build, we'll put those down in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.